Okay, perfect. All right, we're good. So let's dive right into this, everybody. As I mentioned earlier, I've got a few of my colleagues on the line, top money earners in network marketing, top money earners in IDLife, and we want to just really create this unified one band, one sound. This is no individual way to do it. This is no one person deciding how this should be done. This is all of us saying, look, let's simplify this message and let's make it so that from the novice all the way up to the experienced person that may have earned millions of dollars can really successfully build their IDLife business. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it. And I've already shared with my partners that at any time, I want them to just stop me or interrupt and just say, hey, Steve, let me add something to that, or let me piggyback on that, because they bring a wealth of knowledge to the table. And I think it's just great that we unify and we collectively share our knowledge and our experience so that each of you can hear not just one perspective, but multiple perspectives. And we can really create a dynasty within IDLife. So, with that, I think there are three things that need to be done actually even before launching. So, this, I want you to understand this from the perspective of you're going to be getting new people joining your team. So I want you to make sure that you are aware of the things that they need to do even prior to actually getting on the battlefield or getting in the trenches and actually running. So I think that these things include, there's a checklist that we're going to go down. I want you to take some copious notes. This is being recorded. So if you need to, don't worry about if you miss a slide here or there, because you can go back and snapshot some of this stuff later on. But the checklist is that I want us to start with are three things. Number one, you need to believe. Two, you need to have what I call the manual, which is the IDLife planner. And then three, you need to make that commitment, that mental commitment that you're in this for the long haul. And so let's talk about the things that you need to believe in order to succeed in this business. Number one, you need to believe in the industry. You need to believe in this company. And one of the most important things you need to believe in is you. So let's talk about that real quick. Industry. Here are some stats from 2013. And as a matter of fact, there are actually some new stats that have just recently come out. I was listening to a webinar because I'm still a student, you guys, even though I've been blessed to have made millions of dollars and I've been in the industry for 20 years. I still study this industry as a student. And so, because the better you are as a student, the better you are as a teacher. And so I know there's some stats that just recently came out, but these stats here, 2013, let's just look at this from a reference point. NFL, the National Football League, $9.5 billion in revenue. Music industry, 15 billion. Video gaming, I didn't realize it was this much, 76 billion. The movie industry, 88 billion. Here's one that's close to what we do, natural foods, 90 billion. But when you look at our industry of network marketing, some people call it direct market, direct sales, or MLM, whatever the term you use, it's a $178 billion industry. So this is more than double any one of these single industries that are very well known and very well known to be very lucrative. Not only that, team, is that is a huge jump from the previous year, 167 billion to 178 billion. That's a $12 billion jump. And I know a lot of times we use the term billion loosely, but here's what I learned early on. 1 billion equals 1,000 millions. And so for us to have jumped 12 billion as an industry back in 2012 to 13, that's like 12,000 millions. And so that's a lot of growth in an industry, not to mention 71 billion of that is paid out in commissions. That's 40% of the entire revenue being generated paid out in commissions. That comes out to about $6 billion a day. And we're talking industry wide, obviously. Also comes out to $200 million a day. Well, $200 billion, $6 billion a month, $200 million a day. So there's a lot of revenue that's available for each and every one of us to change our lives, change our families' lives. To give you an example of some of the top money earners, we've got, according to businessforhome.org, the number 10 money earner in our industry does about 450,000 bucks a month in personal income. The number 5 money earner does about 700,000. And according to businessforhome.org, the number one money earner does about $4 million a month in income in our industry. And so it's a powerful thing to know that you're among an industry of individuals that are making the kind of money that famous people that we aspire to get to financially are doing. And not only that, but really many people in our industry have gone beyond that. I want to pause right there because I've got a young lady on the line who's actually the number one money earner in our company. So, any perspective, Jennifer, that you want to share just from the ability to really earn a living in this industry, and in many cases, like individuals like ourselves, Jennifer, that have now been in a position where on a monthly basis, income can end up being what a lot of people are doing on an annual basis, working that traditional job. And it's because the power of leverage and no limits on what can be earned. So I want to pause just right there, Jennifer, and have you add anything, just being the number one money earner right now in IDLife. Give them your perspective on that part.
Well, absolutely. Even the numbers that you shared, I know for a lot of people seem staggering, but honestly, it's part of what really intrigued me about this industry. I've referenced before, for those of you that are listening and have heard me speak on this before, I spent many years in corporate America as a very highly paid specialty rep in pharmaceutical sales, and yet I didn't even realize until, quite honestly, I was being mentored by Logan Stout, who is now the CEO and founder of IDLife, that, really I still had a lid on my life. I was making six figures a year. Quite frankly, back 10 years ago, I said that very because there was a lot of people that were really sort of beating down my door trying to get into my industry in terms of pharmaceutical sales and biotech sales. And so I really felt like I had arrived. But what I didn't realize is that I really had a lid on my life in a lot of ways. And what's kind of funny to me is that I sort of looked down upon the network marketing or direct sales industry. But once I got in it and really started to experience the freedom, the time freedom and the financial freedom that comes through creating leverage, it really took the lid off my life. And you nailed it, Steve. When you talked about these incomes that you referenced, because one of the things that really intrigued me that I saw, several folks making $1 million a month or more. I mean, let that marinate for a moment. $1 million a month. Now, I remember partway into my direct sales career becoming frustrated at some point because, as Logan always says, it is network marketing, not not working. So you got to work at it, but it's all worth it because it's limitless. And I remember becoming a little disgruntled at one point and really thinking I wanted to throw in the towel and maybe even go back to pharmaceutical sales. And I remember a mentor of mine saying, well, where did you think you'd be, this far into the game income wise? And I threw out a number. I think it was like $10,000 a month. I said, I thought I'd be at $10,000 a month by now. And he said, so you're going to go back to pharmaceutical sales? And I said, yeah. And he said, so how long will it take you to start earning $10,000 a month residual, meaning getting paid on what you are, not on what you do, meaning that you're getting paid on work you did 5, 10, 15 years ago? How long will that take you, Jennifer? And the answer was never.
Right.
I would have never earned residual income in that industry. So it is limitless. You're absolutely right, Steve.
Absolutely, guys. And then the next thing that we are both referencing, obviously, is the company that we've decided to align ourselves with, team. And I'm talking every single one of us on here. And when you look at just some of the highlights of our company, I mean, look at the fact that we have, in our opinion, the best products in the marketplace. We've got the purest ingredients. We're the only one that I'm aware of that has customized vitamins. We also have one incredible, strong corporate team. I know Jennifer just referenced Logan Stout, who actually has been super successful in many businesses that he owns and runs. But specifically with our company, there are things, Jen, is it three or four that have built billion-dollar companies? I know Joe O'Connor, Daryl was a part of that. Logan's been a part of billion-dollar companies. So, and we've got four billionaires or three billionaires on our board. So we've got a
Exactly.
strong corporate team, guys. Not to mention, we've got an incredible comp plan. There are no breakaways, and some of the things that might be looked at as a negative in a comp plan, we do not have those. We've got expansion capabilities. Some of the products that we have, I could clearly and easily see us marketing this stuff all over the world. We've got we're poised and positioned to be able to go into other countries as long as we organically build here domestically and have all different ethnicities and backgrounds of people in the United States. And then we'll by default go into some of these other countries, and we're going to plan that accordingly. Then also, I love the culture. The culture of this company is family. I mean, right now you've got several leaders, myself and Jennifer and Frank Kimbrough, and I believe Denise might be on as well. I know she had a little bit of an incident, a domestic incident at home. When she got home, there was a little flood, but in the laundry room. Not to expose that, but I'm just letting you guys know this is family. We're all in this thing together, and so it doesn't make a difference who's in whose team. We are trying to uplift every single one of you, and so we feel we have that. The other thing to believe in is you. I don't believe, and I've said this, Jennifer, for years, and Frank, I don't believe you can lose in this business. I think you either win or you quit. There is no losing. So I'm glad to hear Jennifer talk about the differences of what if you had gone back to what you were thinking about doing, which was what you did prior to coming into network marketing. But you can't lose in this game. I always say you're in one of three places. You're either on your way to winning, or you're winning, or you are mentally checking out, or you've already checked out. So actually four places. But I don't think you can lose. You just win or quit. And so my philosophy early on was I'm gonna figure this thing out. And so as long as you guys have those three beliefs in the industry, the company, and you'll be just fine. The next thing we want you to do is download the IDLife Success Planner. Now, I know that the back office can be a little overwhelming at times, and that's just because there's a whole bunch of information for everybody to get. And so we want to teach you kind of the simple way to do this. You want to always go to idlife.com to get to your back office, and you'll just right in the upper hand corner where I've got the little red circle, you'll click on log in. And every time you'll put in your username, you'll put in your password, and it's going to log you in. This is what your back office looks like. Now, when you're looking to get that planner, because see, your planner is going to be sent to you in your kit, and that's going to arrive with your initial product box. And so we don't want you waiting around not knowing what to do until that box gets there. That could be 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. So instead, the minute you have a back office that's live, you want to log in like I just showed you. Then you want to click on this tab that says business. It's going to give you a drop down menu like that. Then you want to click on resource library. Again, if I'm moving too fast, don't worry about it. This will be recorded. Then when you click on resource library, this screen comes up. Then you'll click on getting started, and then this screen comes up. Then you click on success system. Then this screen comes up, and then you'll click on IDLife Success Planner. Now, I know, and I don't mean it negatively, that's like cracking the code to Fort Knox. But the point is, it's because there's a lot of stuff that you can get in the back office. So we wanted to be able to guide you to what we want to get in your hands immediately. Because once you click on this planner, you right here, it's going to pull up the full screen, and right in the upper right hand corner, you're going to be able to download that. So you can get the electronic version, download it, and then you can print it out and just staple it, have it, and then the beautiful harder stock paper copy of it will show up in your kit. But in the meantime, we just want that manual in your hand immediately. So you got the planner. That's check number 2. Number 3, commit to a long-term game plan. And I welcome Denise, Frank, or Jennifer to comment on this as well. But here's what I've always used this analogy, team. This is like college. How and why? Why is it that a human being is intelligent enough to have the proper perspective when it comes to just going to school, which is a great thing. School is a very important aspect of growing up and becoming a young adult. But we go into college knowing this is a 4-year deal. But then we come into a business and we start thinking illogically, like this thing isn't working and I've been doing it for 6 months. Well, guess what 6 months would be in college? You'd be in your second semester of your freshman year. So this is not like you should expect the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month, and you're in your freshman year, first or second semester. You've got to have a long-term commitment, and you've got to make yourself understand that you don't even want to start analyzing what you've accomplished, because things that you're doing today are like seeds that you're planting tomorrow. That doesn't mean it's going to take 4 years, but my thing is, why even lift your head up and start analyzing when you haven't even planted enough seeds? You've not even gone through enough of the network marketing course to get your degree. Don't start thinking about why you haven't gotten your degree in your freshman, sophomore, junior year. So until you've got a few years under your belt, don't even consider starting to ask yourself whether or not this works. And I think Denise is on as well. Denise, you can piggyback on that. I know you just sent me a text. Piggyback on any of that you want to add, Denise, if you're not muted. Denise, are you on? Your line might be muted. So try to unmute that, Denise, if you want to add something, or Frank, if you want to add something. At any time, go ahead and unmute, guys, but I'm going to keep rolling while you guys, and anytime you can step right in. Now, once you've got the belief and the planner and the commitment underway, now let's set the business up, because I believe until you've got your business set up right, then you're not going to be in a position to do it as effectively as you want to. So 10 steps to setting up your IDLife business. Now, and this is listed in the planner, but I want to go through it along with my colleagues so that you really understand some of the philosophies behind what we're going to teach you. Okay, this is the checklist. Number one, let's start with create your website domain. Here's one thing that I always like to point out to my team. Remember, this is a business. And so I just believe, I'm giving you an example here, and this is just an example because I'm giving the example. I say, look, either pick your first and last name or pick something that deals with our industry, whether it be health and wellness or fitness or just living right, living clean, something like that. I mean, I just think that this is not the time, in my opinion, for nicknames or for cute names. That when you're telling someone about your business, you got to remember you've got to give them that website address. And so I just believe that the easiest way to do that is to keep it at the highest level of professionalism so that people take your business seriously when you're talking to them about that. Now, how do you do that? Like, for example, if some of you might be thinking, oh, Lord, I need to change mine. Okay, well, let's show you really quickly where to do that. Go to idlife.com. Again, log in there. Again, put your username and password, get to your back office, and now you want to click business once again. Drop down menu is going to happen. Now you can get where it says website. Click my website, and then right here is going to open up. Now keep in mind, we've got choices of how many different views you want your website to look like. So you can pick any one of these templates right here, and that's if you scroll down. That's one of them. The second one looks like that. The third one looks like that. But the thing is, you can also, if you scroll back up here, over on the left-hand side, that's where you decide the reading of your domain. So if you click on that, what will happen is it's going to pull it up, and over here to the right, you can edit it. So you can go in there. If I wanted to change it to not read stevecarter.idlife.com, I can change it right there. And so, but whatever you put there, it's going to put that before .idlife.com. Now, so you got the professional domain. Next thing you want to do is you want to get your household customer set up. Make sure it's an immediate family member. And the reason I say that is because some people want to give away the discount, which is they'll get a 30% discount. But keep in mind, when you make someone a household customer, there is no commission paid on that household customer. The benefit for them is that they get the same pricing as if they were in the business without them having to be in the business. So don't just randomly give that to a whole bunch of people. I say make it a real household person so that if either you're paying the bill or someone within your house is paying the bill, you're able to get them whatever product they want at the discount. But just know that you don't get commissions on that. Also, you just want to familiarize yourself with your back office. And I think that some of the most important aspects of the back office, and I welcome my colleagues to piggyback on this as well. But the three main things that I look at is I look at your checks, your data panel, and your progress info. Now, here's the thing. Log in again. I'm not going to keep repeating this because now I hope repetition has got you guys to a point where you know exactly how to log in. But over here, you can look right there what your checks are going to look like. Now, look up there. It says projected monthly commissions. So as long as you have the amount of money that will make you active, it'll show you those real amounts. Now, I didn't put any real amounts up there for a couple of reasons. I don't want to put my own checks up there. But what I did was I want to put you in vision mode. And I want you to understand that, look, your name is going to be in that check and the amount is up to you. And so if you work hard, I've made millions of dollars in this industry. And it's because I understood what I had my hands on. So you pick the amount that's going to go in there, but you can see that real time every single day that you log in, or you can go in and see what your projected check for the week is. And that's real time as well. So scroll down a little bit. You can check your data panel. This is important because you're able to see what your business is looking like. I call this popping your hood. You can see reality of where your business is. Some of the things that are important is, number one, you want to be qualified. We always talk about getting enough personal volume. Like $100 will make you an active associate. $500, we like to say, will make you global presidential qualified, meaning you've got enough to hit any position in the company if your personal volume is at 500. Of course, you've got to get your total volume there, but you can look at this stuff and you can always compare it to where it was last month. I think the other thing to look at, we've got to get away from thinking that everything's going to grow beyond what we do, and that's going to happen. But I think you always need to lead by example. So I always look at how many recruits do I have in for the month. And I can tell you all, at the time of this recording, in the last 45 days, I've personally recruited 6 different people, personal recruits. And I say that because I'm going to show you guys some things as we go through this that'll allow you to really start to increase your numbers of recruiting. Your total qualified volume, what I love about that is I was shared early on from Scott Unkelbach and some of the owners that you can pretty much take your total qualified volume, and as long as you've maxed out at whatever the max position that you can hit with that amount of volume, you can probably guesstimate what your monthly residual is going to be, somewhere between 5 and 8% of that total volume if you've maxed what the position you can hit with that volume. So if you've got 100,000 in volume and you're a presidential director, for example, you're going to earn somewhere between 5 to 8% of that, somewhere between 5 and 8,000 a month if you've got that 100,000 in volume and you've hit that position that you can hit with that amount of volume. So you can monitor that, guys, at all times. Then you want to scroll down. Here's another main feature, your progress info. And this is where you can see where you are towards your next rank advance. See, so many people get in a business like this and they do it like this: ready, fire, aim. Now, if you think about what I just said, that's all out of order. It should be ready, aim, fire. It should be a focus. It should be a step-by-step approach, knowing what you're doing to get to that next level. So if you want to know where you are today, you can click on any one of these links. Now, here's the thing I always like to say. You click the link to the right, then you can go all the way up to some of the higher positions, because even if you're nowhere near hitting those positions, if you were to click it, like say, for example, you click executive director. Let's use that as an example. It'll show you where you are towards that position. So if you've got it done, it's going to say 100%, but then it's going to show you all the check marks over to the right that you've accomplished it. Some of the main things you're going to need to look at: you need $350 in personal volume. You need, and so if you've got that, you'll have the check mark. You need 5 active legs. If you've got that, you'll have the check mark. And you need 12,500 in volume. If you've got that, you've got the check mark. But now if you click, let's say, for example, national director, and you don't have everything, you'll see over to the right where you've got the little red X's that say, no, you have not gotten that. So I would look at that right there and I'd say, I'm $44 away from what I need to do to get to national director. I'm 84% there, this, that, and the other. And then at the bottom, I would say, another thing I need one more person in a different leg to become a senior director. So this erases the guesswork. Now, I'm going to pause right there in case any of one of my colleagues want to add anything to where we are right now.
I think you're rocking. We're doing good.
All right, great. So now you want to download the app as number 4. And iPhones, it looks like that. I don't have an Android, so I'm not sure what it looks like. But then you want to stay connected, team. You want to make sure that you get on and you say, look, click on every single one of these links. So I would take a screenshot of this if I were you, and get on the Facebook, get on Instagram, get on YouTube, get on Twitter, and make sure that you are connected to IDLife so that, okay, Denise is trying to speak, but for some reason, we can't hear her. Hey, Jennifer, if you can text her while I'm doing this, just so that maybe we can
Oh
figure
well.
out how Denise can unmute. But
I sure will. And
oh,
also add in too that we also have a channel on Vimeo, Vimeo,
oh wow,
as
okay,
well
great.
for media. Yeah. I
Do you
don't know
know
what the
that
direct
address
link
offhand?
is, but it's Audio Life Corporate. So,
Okay,
well, it's going to be Vimeo.com, and I'm pretty sure it'd be the same, Audio Life Corporate, but without it right in front of me, I don't know for sure. But they put all the corporate videos on Vimeo as well, Vimeo, and
okay,
sometimes those are good to share as well, just because of a little tip, which I love the fact that you have all the exact links on there, because what I do see a lot is sometimes people share YouTube videos that are not direct from IDLife Corporate,
yep.
and they're either poor copies in some cases, or they link to other people's websites. So you definitely want everybody to get in touch with you as an associate. So
Absolutely. And then the other thing you want to do is stay connected corporately through the short code. So you want to text join ID Life to 94033. So you're staying connected. You want to take your assessment if you have not already done so. Log into your back office. I'll run through this very quickly. Most people, you've already done that if we enrolled you properly because we wanted you to try all this stuff. But some people get excited just off the concept of doing this. And so you may not have taken your assessment yet. So you want to click on ID Nutrition, and then you want to go through everything. Scroll down, and then you want to just go page by page, answering all the questions and complete every single one, from dietary to lifestyle to physical to medical to medications. And then right when we get down to the bottom, guys, when you get to results, this is when it starts to get interesting. Because if you scroll down after results, you'll see your health score. And once you see your health score, you scroll back up and you'll be able to see the actual recommendation. So what you'll do, so many people take the assessment and then they'll tell me, I didn't see where I could order it. I've gotten that, Jennifer. Have you gotten that a million times? People get
yeah,
lost and
yeah.
they don't know where to go. So guys, listen, if you have them click on view recommendations, when they do that, this is what happens. Their entire recommended kit comes up, and then they can even click the Y button on why that stuff's being recommended. They can look at all their supplement facts. Everything is back there. But the most important thing for all of us is to make sure they place their order. Now, you look right here, sometimes people say, well, man, 73 bucks, that might be a little expensive. But that's their perspective based on what they're comparing it to. Because I love this little part right here underneath the monthly cost. It shows the equivalent of the daily cost based on dividing it by 30 days. So somebody might say 73 bucks sounds like a lot of money, but not when you look at it as $2.46 a day, because people are spending double that, for example, on Starbucks or something that we know is not necessarily good for them. It may taste good, it may be the vice that we all have, but if you know you can have something for half that amount and it's doing good to your body, why would we not encourage people to do that and to do it on a daily basis, as most people are doing with things that aren't healthy? Now, the other thing is click schedule delivery. That's critically important. And then they check out. And then from there, boom, they are a customer. And we've got to get people not just taking the assessment, but encouraging them. Look, try the vitamins for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, so that they can experience what it's like. Then from here, teach them to share their health score. Easily, they can go right there after they get the score. They just click on share. They can do that socially. Set up ID Pay. That's important. Make sure you get paid. idlife.paylution.com. It'll take you to a separate portal. And if you haven't activated your account, you want to do that first. And then you want to go in and do it where you're either transferring it to your bank account or it can be deposited directly on a prepaid Visa card. But once you've actually done that, from there, future logins, you just put your email address and your password. But it's so many people that haven't done that. And I'm like, how, you're not even going to get paid. So we got to make sure you've got that set up. The almost last thing, now number 9, is you want to make sure you know the calendar, because you want to build a nationwide team. So you want to be able to go in there, go to business, click on calendar, and then you want to be able to know exactly what events are taking place around the country. And for example, every first and third Thursday here in Frisco, Texas, we do the business presentation. So it's just an example of all the things going on around the country. And last but not least on the setup is definitely getting your IDLife gear. Branding is important. You want to make sure you do that. So you click on shopping, you can click on the ID gear store, and then you can go ahead and get your t-shirts and things like that. So people can say, well, what is that IDLife thing? So all that's there for your to take advantage of. So now let's build. Think big, you guys. Here's the thing that we're doing. All you're really building in our type of business is you're building a network of monthly revenue that's coming through your organization based on products being sold and products being purchased and team members joining your team to sell and buy product. And so all you want to do is continue to duplicate that. So the things you want to do right out of the gate to launch fast is earn your $100 bonus. Easiest way to do that is you need to get a preferred customer on any one of our main product lines and see if you're already on the nutrition. You can get a spouse or a family member, and that does count. Household customer counts as well, and it will trigger your first $100. So now, from there, you want to make sure that you're sending people to your site so that they do it correctly. Also, you want to make a list of everybody you know, and that way we can start attacking the list and sharing the IDLife opportunity with everybody. Now, here's what I shared at ID University this weekend. I want to go over this, and again, I welcome my partners to join in on this as well, but we want to teach a simple system that duplicates. Now, here's an example of what we mean. The reason that I use the analogy of the baseball diamond is because there are only 3 bases: first base, second base, third base, then you score, or the potential partner scores. So we want to master getting someone on first base, getting someone on second base, getting someone on third base, and bringing them home to either become a customer or to join our team. So the best thing to do is you want to keep the conversation simple. I always tell people the best way to approach this is you do it upon departure. The worst thing you could do is, let's say, upon arrival, you're striking up a conversation about generating some extra income, starting a home business, or getting in the health and wellness field. If you do that upon arrival, guess what the person naturally is going to do and rightfully will do? They'll ask you a bunch of questions about your business. The last thing you want to do, especially if you're brand new, is put yourself in a position where you've got to explain all this stuff. So if you're networking with somebody, or you go to dinner, or you work out with them, or you just happen to spend some time with someone socially, however it may be, when you're getting ready to depart, keep the conversation simple and say something like, hey, John, hey, what's your email address? I want to send you some information about what I'm doing in business. You actually might see some value and might want to get involved, because there's an opportunity to generate some additional income without changing anything that you're doing right now. Just something simple. I'm not saying it's got to be verbatim like that, but what I am saying is, it's like, oh, by the way, I want to get in touch with you. So shoot me your email address so I can send some information over to you about what I do. What I've been teaching the team, guys, is the victory is getting their email address. Because if you're new and maybe a little apprehensive, maybe a little nervous, maybe not really knowing what to say, scared you might not articulate it properly, might not have all the verbiage down correctly. So you want to erase all of that. Don't even worry about it. Just say, hey, let me get your email address. I want to send you some information about some incredible things I'm doing in business. You might see a value to get involved because there's a way to make some money. Something like that. When they say, okay, great, and they give you their email address, guess what? Now you got them getting on first base. So it was that simple to get somebody on first base. You didn't talk about algorithms and customization platforms and pure view studies, none of that. You said, look, give me your email address. I want to send you some information. Now, if you want to know an example of what to send somebody, you can go to idlifeemail.com. And what I've done is I put a document there that will actually show you some verbiage that you can use. And then we're using corporate videos that actually explain who IDLife is as opposed to you doing it. Now, it'll introduce and say something as simple as, hey, I promise to send you this information. I've included some short links to some videos to explain who IDLife is, which is the company I've aligned myself with. But if you see here in red, this is where you put your personal reason why you got into IDLife. It might be, for example, my partner, I always use his example because his was one that immediately jumped out at me. A gentleman named Victor Young out of New York said, man, I've got to do something, Steve. I've got to get in this business because I drive 2 hours to go to work and 2 hours to get home every day. And that alone is a reason to want to start another business to eventually not have to do that. So I told Victor, look, where it says red right there, that's exactly what you want to put in. You have found something that's possibly going to get you off of that schedule of having to go work for someone that is 2 hours away from where you live. And then from there, it just says, hey, get back to me after you've looked at these videos below. Let me know if you see any value for you to be involved or if you think it'll be a better fit for somebody in your network. So that's like not hard closing anybody. It's also letting them know that you are not desperately in need of them joining because you're not. But it says, look, if you're not interested, let me know if you think this might be a fit for somebody in your network. In the meantime, take a look at these videos. And then at the bottom, it says, if you like what you see in these 3 short videos, which are about 5 minutes long, then I'll get you some detailed information, a presentation that breaks everything down. And here's the thing that we've done, you guys. I always say, look, does this work? I'm not going to read all of this thoroughly, but just know this was one of the most positive responses I got just from the email. As a matter of fact, I did not even personally know this young lady. I just said to her, because I heard that someone in my team talked to a young lady. She was interested. She was asking questions. I said, give me her cell phone. I sent her a text and just said, hey, Arnett, shoot me your email address and I'll get you some information about what we're doing. All I did was send the exact email that's on the document that you guys can download at idlifeemail.com. I sent that exact email with my personal story. And this is what she wrote back. Again, I'm not going to go through all of that, but just know she was fired up about what she saw in those videos. And so I think it's important that you follow up with these people after because you might not get someone to respond like that immediately, or maybe they didn't get a chance to look at the email. So you want to follow up immediately after you've sent that first base email to somebody just to check, hey, did you get a chance to look at that email? And I always say, if you don't hear back from them, then you implement what we call a 3-strike rule. And the 3-strike rule, I'm going to clarify one thing that I actually indirectly or inadvertently left out this past weekend. But 3-strike rule goes like this. Let's just say you send someone the email after they've given you their address. Strike 1 would be something like this if you have not heard back. Hey, John, I'm just following up with you to see if you got a chance to review that email that I sent you. Nothing fancy, guys, just simple. That could be text, email, a voicemail, live if you run into them at the gym or if you bump into them. So it's just, hey, did you get a chance to look at the email? Very, very simple, very friendly, very professional. Now, if it was text or email or voicemail, if you don't hear back, here's what strike 2 sounds like. Hey, John, just making sure you received my last text or my last message. Following up with you once again to see if you got a chance to review that email I sent you. Nothing more irritated, nothing less professional. It's just, hey, this is my second message, checking to see, did you get a chance to look at that? If you still don't hear back, here's how strike 3 sounds. Hey, John, hoping everything is okay with you and your family. Just left you a couple of messages over the last couple of days, haven't heard back from you. What I will do moving forward is respectfully wait to hear back from you. Hopefully I will. If not, I wish you much success in all your endeavors. Look forward to hearing back from you. Take care. That's what I call the goodbye message. And keep it just as friendly, keep it just as professional. And here's the thing, at that point, you can mentally sort them out. Now, this is the part I inadvertently left out in the training on Saturday. My wife actually pointed it out. I always teach at this point, maybe put them in your cell phone as a reminder 60 days from now, 90 days from now, to say, hey, never heard back from you a couple months back. I know you expressed some interest at first, just following up with you. It doesn't mean never talk to them again. So I don't want to inadvertently send that message, because you want to make sure you keep people in the pipeline, but you don't want to keep calling over and over and over if you've left 3 unreturned messages. So spread it out after the 3 strikes, maybe 60 days, 90 days, whatever your heart tells you, but follow your heart and go for it. Now, I say only do that if they have not replied at all. If they have gotten back to you, let's say they apologetically don't get a chance to look at it, don't worry about it. If they haven't gotten a chance to look at it, just keep them in the loop. You don't want to get frustrated like, when are you going to look at it? Look, if you put enough people in your pipeline and in your funnel, you're not worried about the person that may not see enough value to look at it today. I don't get caught up in that. I do this almost robotically. It's like, how many people can I stuff in my pipeline? I'm not worried about if you like it. I'm not worried about if you don't like it. I want to just allow you to definitely get the information and then allow you to look at it when you can, but I'm going to follow up as the leader. So I want to hear, I know my partner Frank Kimbrough has a comment. Frank, you can piggyback on that.
Yeah, Steve, I just want to say that definitely you had shared this process with me about 60 days ago, and as a result, I've already recruited just like you about 5 other individuals, and yet and still I want to tell people that no doesn't mean no response doesn't mean no. You just don't know what's going on in your life. For example, I sent a response to 3 strike to one individual, and it took them about 2 days to get back with me. And when they got back with me, we had a long conversation. We went over it, and he said, "Look, I'm gonna talk to my wife." He called me this morning and said, "On the 31st, when we get paid, we ain't let nothing else get in the way of us. We're all in."
Mm.
I had another individual that I gave her the 3 strike, gave her the 3 strike, and she texted me back. She said, "I'm sorry I didn't get back with you, but my mother, she had a minor stroke." So, sometimes life just gets in the way. It's not nothing personal, or they're not interested in IDLife. And in fact, her response is, what you involved with health and wellness have hit home to me in such a dear way. So yes, we definitely has to get together. And and all of the leads came from the first part, the email. Just using the
Yep.
email format and sending that. Now, here's the key thing: the guy who joined, he said, "So tell me, what type of systems do I have?" I said, "The same system that you have," and I sent him the format and said, "You can go there and customize yourself when you ready to come in, and you be able to share it out just like I just did." And if you saw that it's only took 2 minutes for it to work for me, because here's the thing, whether he thought I was spending a whole lot of time on him, and not that I didn't, I don't love him. He's a good friend of mine, but you have to understand, he was one of the 50 people I sent out
Right.
inboxes to and emails to that day.
Right.
So he just happened to be one of the ones that came back. So I'm not taking it personal, because I understand life gets in the way, but I'm not looking for no home runs. I'm looking to get on base. And that's the key thing. So I just wanted to just share that with you.
Well, you know what, Frank, what's so critical about what you said, and I always teach this, and I'm glad you hit this, is that notice what he said happened. Did you notice? I'm gonna go back a couple slides. Watch the just one slide. Watch this, guys. Read this. It said, "I'm hoping everything is okay with you and your family." Now, did you all hear what Frank just said happened to the last person? Is that their mom had a stroke. So see, I always like to put out there, hey, I hope everything is okay with your family, because in many cases, if somebody's not getting back to you, if it's because something is wrong, the last thing you want to do is show inconsideration or irritation, like, why haven't you gotten back to me? I've been texting you, I'm not hearing back. You don't ever want to do that, because that will rub them completely the wrong way. Not to mention, I always like to assume that, hey, if you haven't gotten back, something might be wrong. So I like to always say, hey, I hope and pray everything is okay on your end. And that's why also, if you read the rest of this, right there in the middle, what does it say? Moving forward, I'm going to respectfully wait to hear back from you. And what's going to happen is exactly what Frank just said, is many people, if they intended to get back to you and they just hadn't gotten around, when they get a respectful professional message like that, a lot of times they feel bad, like, man, I meant to call you back. I am so sorry. They're apologetic. And I always make them feel no problem at all. I'm just glad to hear your voice. I'm glad to hear that you're okay. I was concerned because I didn't think it was like you to not respond at all. But I'm glad don't worry about it. When you get a chance, look at it, because we're here. We're doing it. And when your schedule allows, get back to me when you've gotten a chance to look at the email. Never make somebody feel like their decision is affecting you, whether they get in or watch it or any of that. Because really, team, it doesn't. It affects them, not you. I've got a whole bunch of people that have told me no in the past, but I've had a whole bunch of people tell me yes. And through those people that told me yes, ended up growing a team of over 80,000 people. So I never worried
Right.
about the ones that said no. I always focused on the ones that said yes. And so, you got to, here's another comment. It says they also feel confident introducing people. Yep. Yep. My partner, Sean Hill, just sent me a text. He said another positive thing about this, they feel confident introducing people to you because of your professionalism. That is absolutely right on the money, guys. So here, let's wrap this up with this, guys. So now, if they get back to you, because Frank, you sent me a text the other day showing me a snapshot of a couple of conversations where you had sent the first base email and some people responded saying, man, I'm excited. I've got some people on second base and this, that, and the other. So the team is doing it, guys. And look, what is second base? Second base is any full presentation. Let me tell you the psychology why we make a full presentation second base and not first base. Because if you send somebody to a 30-minute video as the first exposure, they may not take the time to look at it. Now, there's some of you that have the kind of influence or relationship with a person where they will look at that for 30 minutes because it's you. But if you, for the masses, I should say, you want to give them 5-minute snippets. Hey, take a look at what I'm doing. Let them look at Welcome to IDLife. Let them look at the Fox News with Logan Stout and Troy Aikman, and get their interest first. Because once they're interested, then 30 minutes doesn't seem like a lot if they see this as an opportunity and or a possible vehicle where they can generate some income. So we've got examples. Thank God my wife had the brilliant idea of not just having one standard presentation. So what she came up with is, hey, honey, let's do some themed webinars. I'll give an example of these. The general public, we've got a webinar that you can just send people to idlifepresentation.com. I probably, based on what Jennifer just said, we probably need to switch that to Vimeo so there's like a format where they don't get lost in a bunch of other videos. But then if they go to idlifepresentation.com, it's just the general public presentation, friends, family, coworkers, neighbors. But if you've got some specified categories of people, like let's say fitness experts or personal trainers, well, send them to a presentation that's more in their language. So guess what? IDLifeFitnessPresentation.com, that included Megan Teef, who's a nutritionist and fitness expert. That included Darrell Joyner, who owns a gym and looks like the Hulk. I mean, muscle wise. And so you got to understand, we implemented people that are in that field. So if you've got experts in that field, they're hearing from their peers. You might have some people that are in the medical field and you may be a little intimidated because you feel, I'm no doctor, I'm no nutritionist. Well, send them to ID Life Doctor's Presentation. We had Dr. Yolandra Hancock and Dr. Phil Roberts. They were testimonies on that, and they spoke eloquently from a medical perspective. You might also have some sharp business women who, and I know my wife has done women's symposium seminars for years. And one thing about women, when you get a lot of women in one room, They will stick together, trust one another. And if one sharp woman is talking to another sharp woman, it is so easy for that person to receive the message the way it's intended to be received. So we did a women's webinar, IDLife women's presentation. That included Dana Cantera, that included Wendy Ryan, Sharice Richards, my wife Pasha. All of them spoke on that one. And then we have the millennials webinar. You've got some entrepreneurs that are under 30. So guess what? Send them to IDLife Young Professionals presentation. I know that's a long one. Young IDLife Young Professionals presentation.com. But that's for the aspiring young entrepreneurs under 30. Last but not least, you got former or current professional athletes. We had former NHL star Jimmy Dow, who won the Stanley Cup in the hockey field. And then also we had Keenan Burton and Xavier Gramble. Those guys played in the NFL. One still plays in the NFL. Send them to IDLife Athletes presentation so they can hear from other former and current athletes on what IDLife is doing for them. Other additional second base options, maybe a one-on-one, maybe a mixer at someone's home, maybe a live webinar. I do one every Wednesday, or it may be a local home or office business presentation. So I always say, and I'm going to pause again for either Denise or Jennifer or Frank to share something, but send your potential partner to whatever you can get them to the fastest once they've responded after first base and they've responded favorably with some interest. If I use the example that if you pique somebody's interest with the email on a Wednesday, or let's say on a Friday, and your weekly meeting is on Thursday, the last thing you want to do is say, hey, next week at the end of the week, there's a presentation on Thursday, 6 days from that. You don't ever want to do that. You want to move someone to action immediately. So if you can get them to be able to see something from the comfort of their home within hours, get them to that. So every time you get a favorable response on first base, send them to something you can get them to within 24 hours on second base. So any of my partners want to add
Hey,
anything
Steve.
to that?
Yeah, yeah, I'll add on that, Steve. And I think this is just really important. Is that we have to move with a sense of urgency, because life will get in the way. And I always tell people that opportunity has an expiration date. And opportunity also has a wife, and her name is Miss Opportunity. So so we got to catch it when we can, and we have to move with a sense of urgency because it
Yep.
does expire. So you don't
Strike
want to
while
wait if
iron's hot.
it's yeah, if your meeting is on a Wednesday, you don't want Thursday and you talk to them on Thursday to wait till next Wednesday. No, you want to move immediately and get them in front of either one of these or in one of the presentation or mixer, or run over to wherever they are and just get them in front of the information. And then, of course, and I know Steve going to talk about it, get them to your senior partner and letting them close them out.
Absolutely. And the good thing is with technology in today's time, you can get somebody in front of something within minutes. I mean, everything's available at your fingertips electronically. So now, here's the deal. Once you get somebody that has been on first, they've been on second. Well, now you want to let your senior partner know that they are interested. Because if they've shown interest after the 5 minute videos, then they watch a full presentation. It could be one of the theme ones or whatever it was. And they call and say, hey, Jennifer, I've got somebody that's interested. You want to send Jennifer, or I'm just using Jennifer as an example, you want to send any of your leaders the name and phone number of that potential partner, and you let your leader know, hey, Jen, this person's on third base. Because see, I've always taught my team that language lets me know they've watched the videos on first base and they've watched some form of a full presentation on second base. So I don't have to go over all that stuff again. They got all of that. They got all of that. That's available 24/7. And so here's what happens is when I receive a number and a name from one of my partners on my team, I send this type of a text as the upline, as the senior partner. Hey, John, this is Steve Carter contacting you on behalf of the team member. He or she informed me that you've watched a couple of our videos and you've expressed some interest in IDLife. Let me know when you have a couple minutes to chat, and I'll attempt to match our schedules so that we can speak briefly. P.S. I've also copied the partner into this text. Look forward to hearing back from you. And the reason I copy the partner into the text is twofold. I want them to be able to learn from the language and to see the back and forth, how I answer questions or so forth. But also, I want to be held accountable. If you send me a name and a number of somebody that you put on first and second base, I want you to know when I got back to them and what the language was. So once that happens, here's the thing. If you need that language as a senior partner, you can go to IDLifeSeniorPartnerCall.com. I've got all of that written out so that you know exactly now what to say on that call. Because I always teach guys, and I'm not saying this to teach the leaders what to say, but what I think is important from a psychological standpoint is when I do a third base call, I'm not getting on reiterating everything about IDLife, because if they watched all of that on the videos, the main thing I want to point out is what little amount of time, as Frank said earlier, what little amount of time it took for that person to get me on the phone with them. So if it's a partner named John and the potential partner's name is Michelle, I'm going to say, hey, Michelle, listen, before we even get started, I want to point out what little amount of time John took to get you to this point of you and me talking. And the reason I'm pointing that out, Michelle, is because I don't know if you've got a ridiculously hectic schedule or whether you've got a flexible schedule. But I want you to realize that John may have spent a total of 1 minute to get you to this point. John sent you an email, had some video links. You looked at that at your discretion and at your leisure. Then when you shared with John that you saw it, John got you a full presentation, which again, you looked at your leisure around your schedule. John just took 30 seconds to send you both links. That's it. And so what I'm saying, Michelle, is that if you could find 30 to 60 seconds in the day to do exactly what John did, I will be more than happy to have the same professional dialogue with anybody on your behalf as I am having with you on John's behalf. So with that being said, what did you like about what you saw, John or Michelle? That's it. That's kind of the language. So any leaders on the line that are doing three-way calls, you can go to IDLifeSeniorPartnerCall.com. If you want to get that language, you can download that language right there if you want to, just master it, guys. Now, I'm wrapping this up. Here's the thing. At any time between first and second base or second and third base, if someone is showing interest, listen to what's so important, team. I don't want you feeling like this is all about recruiting, because it's not. Because you've got to infuse sampling in there immediately. People always have the age-old argument of, should I recruit first? Should I sample first? Look, I say they should go neck and neck, but I like to lead with recruiting because I want exponential growth. So if I lead with recruiting and say, hey, there's an opportunity to generate some income, because that's a universal language that everybody's interested in. Well, whether they're interested in IDLife or not is secondary to the fact that making extra money is interesting. I don't know somebody that says, you know what, I'm not interested in making any extra money. I got enough. That doesn't usually happen. So if someone's interested, you get them to first base. And then if they show any interest, they've watched the videos on first base and they say, man, that's interesting. Immediately say, you know what? I want to get you some information. I'm going to get you some product. So if you want to know the language to send them, you can go to IDLifeInterested.com. That could be after first base, second base. But here's the thing. Hey, I'd still like to get you some complimentary products, the purest ingredients, blah, 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 blah. Let me know what I can get you. So you get them that. And then from there, if you've got information you want to give them about the products, because some people are iffy on what they're going to consume if they don't know what's in it. Dr. Lou, one of our SciMed board members, doctors, he has a 2-minute video for each one of our products. And I just grabbed a couple of domains because I wanted people to be able to easily remember them. But idchoose.com, idenergyproducts.com, idhealthybars.com, that will go straight to these little 2-minute snippets from our SciMed board physician that talks about the science behind those particular products that you might be sending to someone. So this is critical. Now, not everybody is going to join, but does it work? Absolutely. And here's one little thing that I want to share with all of you is that here's an example of what we're doing. And I'm encouraging you guys to do this on Facebook. I have to give the credit to my partner, Bradley Snell, one of the national directors. He's the one that sparked the interest in me to do this. But look what we're doing, guys. is we're teaching the new people that join our team. This is one of my brand new partners, Dr. Shauna Collins out of Los Angeles. We talked, and this was done textbook. We sent her to IDLifeDoctorsPresentation.com, just like I'm telling you to do. She watched that. She got excited. She joined the team. So here's the thing. Now we're saying, welcome to the family. And we're posting these kinds of welcome her to the team pictures on Facebook. Here's another one. My partner, Mario, out of Minnesota. Same thing. Mario was interested. I said, let me get you some information about what we're doing, Mario. I sent the initial email. He hit me back and said, I like what I see. I said, great. Let me get you the full presentation so you can understand the entire business model. I sent him that. In other words, it was still less than 3 minutes that we spent on the phone about what we were doing. And I got him that information. And when he got that information, he joined. And now we're showing people to actually hold up their ID nutrition box, and we're welcoming them to the team because we're trying to stir up a movement. And I'm encouraging all of you guys to do that. There's so many little phone apps that you can do split screen. So take a picture and point to the left or point to the right. Take that picture of yourself. Have your spouse or somebody do it. Pasha just took a picture of me out in my backyard in front of my fence with some nice sunlight. That's all that was. And there was nobody standing next to me. But then you just go in and you just crop it and use one of the little phone apps, and then you have your new partner send a picture of them holding their ID nutrition box, and let's create this movement, family, and let's get this thing going. Now, I'm wrapping this up with this. There are going to be some people that aren't interested. And guess what? That is perfectly okay. If someone's not interested, here's what I want you to do. You go to idlifenotinterested.com. And the reason I want you to go there is because I want you to be able to use this language here. No worries. I still would like to send you some complimentary products. And then look what I ask in that question. Let me know which area of personal health is a priority to you right now, and I'll mail you some products that support that area of health. Let me know your focus of need. Is it more energy, better sleep, a better workout, losing weight, healthier skin, a combination of above? If so, which ones? Or none of the above. And that's only because I want to send you only the products if it's of value to you. In other words, guys, let's not send our stuff if somebody is not showing any interest whatsoever in the products or getting involved. Then don't waste your stuff. Find out what they're interested in. Now, you may still send a little bit of additional things, even if they pick something that they're interested in, but you send that additional stuff just to let them try some of the other stuff. But give them what they need and hope that they like what they need. And from there, team, if we can get people duplicating this process. I had a young lady come up to me at the gala, which was the event after ID University this weekend, and she shared with me that she has peaked more people in a few hours after seeing this baseball training than she had done all month thus far. So think about this. We're 2 weeks into the month right now as of the time of this recording. And so if somebody can get more personal peaks in, meaning they've gotten email addresses in a few hours than they have in 2 weeks, imagine the exponential massive growth that we can have in IDLife, and how many people are going to hear about this incredible company with these incredible products. And it's done in a professional way that people can run this business from the comfort of their cell phone. So with that, team, I'm done. I want to bring any one of my partners, Jennifer, Frank, Denise, if you're off mute, anybody that wants to add any closing remarks or any comments or feedback, let's close this thing out, and hopefully everybody got value out of tonight. Everybody else still on?
Well, Steve,
Yeah, we're
yes,
here.
Steve,
I know for me, Steve, I just think you definitely covered everything, covered all the bases, no pun intended. But it was amazing, and just you got to follow the system, guys. That's all I can say. Make it a duplicatable process that you can share with your team. We're all in this together, and what makes IDLife such an incredible opportunity, for the long term is going to be having this duplicatable system of success. So thank you, Steve, for putting this together this evening. It was amazing.
Good. Excellent. You are very, very welcome. And Frank, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I basically was going to say the same thing that Jennifer said, but and I mean, it was just amazing training. And guys, I'm just telling you that I'm using it, you know, and when the top leaders are adapting what some of the other top leaders is, you have to success leaves clues. You know, we're not getting you this information to for any benefit of ours. You know, when I took on this information, I saw it as benefit for me, and I use exactly this format. Every single day. You know, right? In fact, even while I'm on the phone in between the training, I'm even sending out messages. And then what I love about three-way calls, guys, is that once you if I pass a three-way to Steve and he's my senior partner and if he's my upline, that's now Steve person. It was not meaning that he's going to work with that person and that check is going to come into your account. So that's why three-way calls, we got to drive that. And one of the things that Steve, you saw that I shared with you is I challenged my team this week, and everybody in IDLife family, I open this challenge up to you. Go out this week and just get 25 no's. Don't even worry about trying to get 25 no's. Try to do that. If you go out and get 25 no's, you're gonna find out trying to get 25 no's is just as hard as getting 25 yes.
Yep.
So just go out here and just keep building it and going through the system, following it, because you got to get a no, you got to do follow up. You got to get a follow up to get a no. You got to do follow up to get a yes.
Yep.
Same work.
Yeah, I
And
teach guys the victory is getting the email address. You've done your job as an aspiring
yeah,
entrepreneur if you get the email address, because from there the ball is now it's now in your court. So when you get that email address, you can't drop the ball and get home and forget to send the email and things like that. And guys, I wanted this to be a blueprint and a platform for you all to piggyback on. If there are tweaks that you or your leaders want to make to verbiage or language or anything like that, hey, we are all individuals, we are all independent, and we're all leaders in our own right. So I welcome that. But I wanted to just put a platform out so that the person that's wandering around and didn't even know there were some baseball diamonds or baseball bases out here and they're wandering around in a different sport. I just want people to understand, look, guys, we've got this thing handled. And now it's a matter of how many people can we get it in front of. So let's rock and roll. Let's take this company to $1 billion status. Let's do it together by uplifting everybody on this phone and everybody in this company, because a rising tide raises all ships. And I think we can have multiple global presidential directors if we keep building this thing as one band, one sound. So thank you for your time. This has been recorded and I'm going to upload it. And the link that you can use to watch it or get to your team, because I know some of you are going to want your team members to hear it, go to www.buildyourIDLifebusiness.com. Now, I did one last week. I didn't have the other leaders on there with me, so give me a minute to upload it, because if you go there now, you're going to get the one I did last week just for my team. But I opened it up for the whole company after doing it this weekend, because I wanted to make sure that the other leaders saw what we were doing so that they had buy-in as well, because I always want to be respectful of the other leaders' teams and for us to do this as a unit collectively. And I wanted to be inclusive and to have the other leaders whom I respect highly in this company as well to be a part of this. So if you give me till later tonight, and I will upload this to where www.buildyourIDLifebusiness.com, and you'll be able to play this exact training that you heard tonight. So God bless you guys. Let's take ID Life to $1 billion, and let's take each and every one of your businesses to multi-million-dollar status. Take care. I'm Steve Carter signing off. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great remainder of the evening. Take care, everybody.